Hi everyone. I asked God about ChatGPT, and in this video I'm going to share with you what the Lord showed me basically. So actually it was a vision that I went into when I asked that question. So I simply asked the Lord, what about ChatGPT? And it was almost as if the Lord was waiting for me to ask, because very quickly I hadn't even finished my question and I went into a vision, and this is what I saw, and I'm just going to show you, and then I'm going to go into the interpretation in a bit. So I just basically saw a skull. Okay, let's start off with the good side of it, okay? Because I myself, I've played with this technology. I've played with the I've gone to what's it called, Open AI website, and I've had a look and I've had a play around with the software, and I like the software. It has some flaws, but it's very advanced as well in its creation. But just a little bit of a good news. Let's see what this guy is saying.
ChatGPT, you look at that and you're like, wait a minute, this is real. People are like, this is bad, this is going to take away jobs. And I'm like, yeah, but if you know your history, that's what people said about tractors.
Okay.
What happens is when jobs are taken away,
yeah,
new
so
jobs
he's
are
basically
created. And what I see in
he basically thinks that new jobs are going to be created, that it's not going to take away jobs, etc., etc. It's important for me to play this because I want you guys to I don't want to be I don't want to be blind in my approach to this. I want to show the two sides of this and then conclude, like I said, with what the Lord actually showed me, the meaning of what he showed me. So that's one side of the argument, and then the other side of it is I want to play Elon Musk's something that he said, and I think is quite key because he's one of the founders of Open AI. That's the the whole software that ChatGPT is working on. Okay,
is that we achieve democratization of AI technology, meaning that no one company or small set of individuals has control over advanced AI technology.
Well, this changed.
That's very dangerous. It's not as though I think that the risk is that the AI would develop a will of its own right off the bat. I think it's more that's the concern is that someone may use it in a way that is bad.
Yeah, well,
or even if they weren't going to use it in a way that's bad, that somebody could take it from them and use it in a way that's bad.
But if you're interested, this is the video to watch. Okay, that's the video there. If you're interested in watching that video, but in this video, Elon Musk is basically citing his concerns on ChatGPT being in the wrong hands. All right, so I want to tell you that currently, it seems to me, from what I've been looking at, it seems to me that actually this concern is now something that's quickly manifesting into reality, I feel, because when ChatGPT was first launched, when they were first working on it on the Open AI, they wanted it to be open source and for everybody to be able to see the code. If you watch this video, you will hear Elon Musk talk about that. But currently, the likes of Bill Gates and Microsoft have spent a lot of money. They've invested a lot of money on ChatGPT, and also they are now looking to invest even more money, and we're talking billions here. So actually, it's now going into the hands of the few, if you like. It's not open source anymore as they originally intended it to be. It's now going into a much more concentrated ownership, So anyway, so that's one background I just want you to hold on with. Now, the other thing I just want to now say is the guy called Jody Rose is the guy who is behind the quantum computer that works with CERN. CERN, CERN. So this computer, quantum computer, is called D-Wave. You've probably heard of it. So he's basically saying that he believes that where we're going with robotics and artificial intelligence, or shall we say artificial general intelligence, is basically going to lead in people losing jobs. So in other words, what he sees is a world that is different from that video that I played earlier. Do you remember? I can't remember that guy's name, but do you remember this video when I played this one, right? So this guy thinks it's going to be a good thing. It's going to be fantastic and jobs will just change hands and blah, 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 blah. But the guy that's behind quantum computer originally, he's moved on to robotics now, like I said, actually sees a different future, as does the guy that's behind Open AI as well. So the young chap that's one of the founders of OpenAI, that's Sam Altman. That's this guy here. This guy here. He also sort of sees a slightly different world that we're moving into. So with that being said, it's better for me if I just quickly play this for you so that you see for yourself. Hold on,
Really see
okay.
a simple solution to the problem.
Again,
As in
here's the
every
video.
market, a company that can use AI technology to
when you're
save
ready.
money. Pause. OpenAI is funding the largest UBI project in the world.
Yeah, so we run the largest UBI experiment in the world. We have a year and a quarter left in a 5-year project. I don't think that's like the only solution, but I think it's a great thing to be doing. We should have like 10 more things like that we try. We also try different ways to get sort of input from a lot of the groups that we think will be most affected. And
Okay, so UBI is...
We've explored more recently like how this technology can be used for reskilling people that are going to be impacted early.
So UBI basically is a universal basic income, and it's a program where the government gives money. I'll just read it to you. Basically, it would guarantee that every citizen within a governed population will receive payment from the government with enough money to live on. Okay, so this is what this people who are introducing the AI, I'm sorry, not AI, the ChatGPT and what have you. This is what Sam is, they're already working on this, you know, so that there will be schemes like that to give money to people who find themselves without work. And also, the other chap I mentioned earlier, the guy that's involved with CERN, and he's now working in artificial intelligence. He also envisions such a world as well. So I'm just going to play that to you.
Okay, well, I got to touch on the point that I saw you talk about, that technology ultimately will make capitalism redundant, or maybe not redundant, but impossible to support.
Yeah, they're incompatible.
Yeah. What happens then? You develop these machines, but you don't need me any longer.
UBI, Universal Basic Income. And the way that to implement it is very clear. So the concept is that so the way that things work now in the simplified
now listen to this
is you have companies who pay people to do things, and then those companies create wealth, a part of which goes to the government as tax, and then the people who've generated the wealth, part of their paycheck goes to the government also, and the government gets taxed from both sides. So as technology grows in its capabilities, what happens is companies replace the labor of people with machines. So they stop paying humans, they pay machines instead, a lot less. Mm-hmm. The corporations need to pay more tax. Mm-hmm. That tax goes to the government that now pays the people. So it reverses the arrow. Instead of you paying tax to the government, in the future what's going to happen is the government is going to pay you.
Okay, so this is the world that they see. This is where they see things going, and this is their solution to where they're quite certain that softwares like OpenAI and ChatGPT, they're quite sure that this is where it's leading. Hence, they're making preparations, or setting aside what do you call it, ideas on how to deal with such a world when we get there. And we're getting there very quickly, as you know. This year things are just speeding up. So with that being said, of things speeding up, the other side of the story is that there are competitors as well. So you have ChatGPT, but then you have the other software companies and other technology companies, such as, and not just companies, but organizations such as Google. I don't know if you guys know, but Google is actually about to introduce their own, what do you call it, language software, their own version of ChatGPT. And what I heard, and I'm not sure how true this is, but I heard that Google, the first one that they're going to launch, is going to tackle 3 languages. So it's going to be able to deal with different languages immediately. I think ChatGPT, if I'm not mistaken, only deals with English at the moment. And I know that ChatGPT is going to be releasing a newer version very soon. But nevertheless, Google is about to launch their own, and already they're going to launch it with multiple languages, okay? Natural languages, human languages. And then, of course, we have China as well. China in the last, I think in 2021, actually they went past the race on what do you call it, on quantum computing. Okay, so there is quantum computing. Maybe I'll talk about that in a different video to do with CERN, etc., etc. It's a completely different way of computing. I'm sure a lot of you know what I'm talking about. So the other agent as well. So we've talked about Google, and I've talked about China, and the other agent as well is the US government as well. Now, I'm British, so I don't know if our own governments are working on their own as well. But anyway, USA, at least we know that the government has pumped in a lot of money. Originally, they pumped in $1 billion, and then China pumped in $20 billion in their own project. And we know that Bill Gates pumped in, it was originally 1 billion, and then now they've just added 10 billion to the ChatGPT project. And so, but of recent times, the USA has bumped up that investment. So it's no longer 1 billion. It's now, I think, $26 billion. So there's a lot of money being pumped into this technology, because that is the way forward. So that tells you and I that it's not going anywhere. If anything, it's expanding. We're just seeing the infancy of it. Okay, we're just seeing the baby of it. And this thing is expanding. You will appreciate that usually when something is introduced to the masses, the work that's been done, so probably 20 years, it's probably a 20-year-old work that's now being introduced to the masses. Okay, so whatever you're seeing now, just know that behind the scenes there's already advancement being done. Okay, so now I've explained to you, well, not explained, but now I've mentioned to you about universal basic income, that's where they're going. And that sounds a little bit like I don't want to say that word, but you know what that sounds like. I don't know if you heard someone say that actually this technology cannot work hand in hand with capitalism, okay? So this is a completely different way of us living than the way you and I live today. Today, you go to work and you earn money, and then you give the government your tax, okay? You contribute. But what they're saying is that it's going to reverse. There's going to be a world where, because people aren't working, the government is going to tax the big companies, and then the big companies are going to give the government pay their tax, and then the government is going to distribute a portion of that money to the citizens. Something like that in the simplest form. More more research needs to be done into that, and more investigation needs to be done into that. I have to admit, okay, but that's just in a quick nutshell. So with all of that being said, in conclusion, for me, when I saw the skull in the vision, what it means to me, what it said to me was death, basically, because for me, skull represents death. And the way I see it is basically it's a road leading to death. Okay, so in other words, it's a dead end. As a matter of fact, when I saw that vision, that was the phrase that came to my mind. It's a dead end. Okay, it's leading to a dead end. And so, and you and I know that statistically speaking, and when you observe the community, it's been seen that a lot of times when people retire, they have to find something else to do to keep them going. Because when somebody retires and they're not doing anything, statistically speaking, people tend to die quicker, to exit this planet much quicker if they are not doing something, So we human beings, we're built to do something. We're built to create. We're built to solve problems. That's what we're good at. That's what we are created to do. That's what our brain loves to do, and that's what our hands love to do. And everything about us wants to create, and we want to solve problems. We want to overcome challenges. That's what we humans do. So when you take that away from a society, the end is like for me, it's like a hole, like a black hole, basically, an empty hole. What's going to fill that space? It's like a big space. What's going to fill that space? Something needs to fill that space, and then you say, well, there's going to be artists and painters and things like that. But we're not all called to be artists, so even those people who want to buy artwork that is not AI generated, they want to go to the artist and pay for a real hand painted work. Okay, well, but we're not all called to be artists like that. What about those who are called to do more mechanical kind of tasks or labor kind of tasks? That's where they get their satisfaction from. There are people who are like that, And what about those people who are called to teach, to do all manner of tasks that this AGI, that's artificial general intelligence, is gearing towards replacing, So it's just something to think about. I just wanted to make this video and share with you what the Lord showed me. And then I just want you to have a think about it and to make some preparations. There's somewhere in the Bible where a man is told to put his house in order. And that scripture just comes to mind because you put your house in order because you can see that there is something ahead that you can't necessarily control. And it doesn't necessarily mean to do you good, So what you do is you start to put your house in order and start making preparations and find ways. We are blessed with creativity. So I believe personally that if someone was to prepare themselves or to start making preparations now, they will come up with ways to overcome the age of AI. There is an age coming upon us, an age of artificial intelligence and an age of technology. I've made a video before on end time technology, and I think I'm going to be making more on those, including blockchain technology. But you start now to prepare yourself for where this is going. And those of you who are prayerful, those of you who commit things to God, and I encourage you to commit this to the Lord. Commit your job to the Lord. Don't just take it for granted that your job is never going to be replaced by artificial intelligence or by automatic mechanics or anything like that. Just start to commit your work, your skills and things like, and your household, your stream of income. Start to commit all of those to the Lord and start to explore any ideas that God will give you to explore. You start exploring those ideas and just be encouraged and be strengthened in the Lord. Okay. All right, so this video is not to cause fear. All right, everyone, so be encouraged, as I said, and you know, put a chin up and put a smile on your face, and we're humans, you know, we're built to overcoming challenge is one of the things that we're good at. So begin now to do what you need to do, okay, and enjoy it, you know, have fun in doing that. You know, there's something else I just want to say before I close this video, which is King David keeps coming to my mind. You know, King David, there was a time when he actually pretended to be a mad, crazy man. He had to act like he was crazy for a moment in order to save his life, you know. And why am I saying that? Well, that scripture came to my mind while I was preparing this video. And I believe that what it is that don't be religious about what I've just shared, or whatever it is that you yourself know about artificial intelligence, quantum computing, or any such things, you know, or even blockchain technology. Don't approach it as a from a religious mindset, because sometimes Christians tend to do that, and you mustn't do that. You must think outside the box. Yeah, God is bigger than your religion. You think outside the box. King David, like I said, there was a time he had to pretend to be a crazy man. So what I would say is, seek the Lord. Whatever God drops in your spirit, start to explore that, okay? That's the best thing to do. And then keep taking it back to the Lord in prayer. Keep taking it back to the Lord in prayer. And don't approach the days that is coming upon us from a religious point of view, as if you know how this thing will plan out or how things will work out. You don't know how it's going to play out. You don't know how it's going to work out, you know. So you want to commit your ways to the Lord. In all of your ways, commit it to the Lord, okay? And he will lead you into prosperity. All right. Cheers, everyone. Bye-bye now.